Welcome back to the fans. Here on Running with the Devils. All year long, please hit that subscribe button, smash the like, share with a friend. Thank you very much. And what would it be to be a New Jersey Devils fan without another day of a twist and turn in the headlines of some sort as we all patiently await on the Quinn Hughes watch? News came out today, just a few hours ago. Timo Meier taking personal leave of absence. Organization offering full support as Meier tends to family health matter. The Devils this morning released a statement concerning Timo Meier. Devils forward Timo Meier is taking a personal leave of absence from the team as he tends to a family health matter. The entire organization supports Timo and his family and appreciates everyone respecting their privacy at this time. Oof. First and foremost, hopefully everything's okay with Timo and his family. Obviously, this is pretty vague. As these things typically go, they're not going to release too many details. I could only speculate, that someone in his family is sick, obviously based on the very brief and limited statement that we did get. And hopefully that's, it all works out well and it's nothing too serious, but I'd have to believe it probably is if he's not playing in a game. But better than him being injured, obviously. It's not an injury, but nonetheless, it's a reason why someone is not playing in the game. And Timo Meier is a huge part of this team, despite the many people who have hated on this man. Our only bull in the lineup. I mean, this guy has had quite the season thus far. A big contributor to this team. He has stepped up in Jack's absence, looking like he was going to have a pretty decent year. And hopefully that continues when he comes back. But again, hopefully everything's okay with his family. And he's back sooner than later. Because we do not know the details of what exactly this is, I hate to say it, with this condensed schedule, there's a chance that he misses this entire homestand. I mean, this is 3 games in 4 nights. We have tonight against the Bolts, off tomorrow, Saturday afternoon against the Ducks, Sunday afternoon against the Canucks. Depending on what this is, I mean, we don't even know. Did he leave the country? There's so many question marks. But in the end, I would imagine he's going to miss more than 1 game because of the fact the schedule is so condensed. And so we could be without him for this homestand and possibly even longer, depending on what this is. But again, hopefully everything's okay with his family first and foremost, more important than hockey. But on the hockey front, it's a massive loss to the Devils. And I would say probably the biggest loss they could incur after Jack Hughes, especially now. Not ideal. And so now, in my opinion, we're missing the best guy or most irreplaceable guy, I should say, in Jack Hughes' absence, and hopefully this team finds a way to gut it out. This is going to be a real test. No Pesci, obviously, no Jack Hughes, and now without Timo Meier. When it rains, it pours, folks. So what does this mean for the team? A lot of people were speculating, who's going to be in the lineup? Are we going to see Lemico again? And courtesy of New Jersey Devils reporter Amanda Stein, if we're looking at how things are shaping up at the Devils morning skate, Xavier Parent is indeed making his NHL debut tonight against Tampa. Lots of forward movement other than the glass line with the absence of Timo Meier. Defense staying the same. Markstrom likely the starter. And there we see it. The new look New Jersey Devils for tonight. I would like to go back and comb through all the games and see. I have to believe we may have seen the most different line combinations of any team in the league because of, all the injuries first and foremost, and then kind of switching things up and blending the lines. When we were struggling, we've probably seen a record amount of line combinations throughout the young season thus far. But we take a look. Top line, Jesper Bratt, Nico Hischier, Stefan Nason. A second line of Palat, Mercer, and Cotter. And guys, you guys know, I am a Paul Cotter enthusiast. I love his game. He has a little bit of that heavier, edgier, more violent, throws a ton of hits. He's obviously shown the silky mitts in so many occasions. Obviously a shootout specialist, but when he gets in one-on-one with a goalie on a breakaway, he's nearly automatic. We saw it that last game, the beautiful couple dekes, and then finishes it on the backhand. I love Cotter. I do believe he is the most untapped potential of the forward group on this team, and it's been a rough go for him. Let's be real. All the injuries kind of screwed him up because going into the season, it seemed like he was going to be with Grits. And they looked great in the preseason. Then all the injuries happened to Donov, this guy, that guy. And then he was kind of shuffled around on the 4th line on many nights with some guys that, if we're being fair, are going to, not help him contribute offense, obviously. On the 3rd line some nights. And here it is now. Paulie Cotter in a big spot, a big time to show out. Paul Cotter on the 2nd line with Pally and Mercer, and let's see what this kid could do. Hopefully they keep him there. for the entire game and we don't see mid-game switches, and changing it up. Sometimes Keefe gets impatient and he'll start switching it up. But I like to see now, we're going to see Paulie Cotter hopefully for a full game on the second line with Mercer and Palat. And it's a big opportunity for him. Hopefully he makes the most of it. The third line staying the same. That line was 24 karat gold last game. Arseny Gritsuk, Cody Glass, Connor Brown. They did it big. They won the game last game. Grits with a goal and 2 assists. Brown with 3 assists and Glass with a big goal in that one, and they are staying together as they should. Looking to see if they could follow up that performance with another big one. And the fourth line, Xavier Parent making his NHL debut with Goaltending at center and the Shank, Angus Crookshank on right wing. Defense pairs staying the same and looking like Markey and net. Hopefully Markey can just give us a gem performance. We need one. I'm not as down on Markey as many other people are. I understand with the start, many people coming out of the woodwork and talking about the contract and all these things. I'm still hoping for the best. It's still super early. The contract didn't even start yet, but that's a topic for another day. But hopefully we see a big game out of Markey. He did not give up an even strength goal last game. They were all on the power play. Looking for a big game from Markey as well. And then for special teams, Amanda reports, it looks like Arseny Gritsuk will be part of New Jersey Devils power play one tonight with Nemitz, Heischer, Bratt, and Nason. And okay, obviously love my boy Timo Meier on power play one. I've said as long as this man is a New Jersey Devil, he should be fully cemented on the power play one unit, but Timo's not there tonight. And so Grits get in the call. Power play one with Nemo, Nico, Bratter, and Nason. And this should be an interesting one. I wonder, obviously Nace is going to be a net front guy there. Nemo at the point. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Hopefully Grits could kind of fill in that role that Timo plays. And I love Grits' game, guys. I mean, who doesn't, right? This kid could do it all. Great hands, could finish. He's underrated, gritty, in my opinion. A little underrated in that department. He wins puck battles. He uses the physicality a little bit more than he gets credit for. And I think he is going to be an absolute gem for this team. I am a little worried about his contract, as we've seen with the Devils in the past couple years with some of the restricted free agents, that these things went into camp, and that absolutely cannot happen. And again, another topic for another day. Have no idea what the expectations for his contract will be, but he's going to get paid as he deserves. And hopefully it gets taken care of like now. I know, we've seen these things where only one deal at a time is focused on and there's priorities, but priorities should be locking this kid up long-term before he goes on some crazy stretch where I could see Grits going on a tear and scoring 10 points in 5 games or something. And maybe they're going to wait and see where his production falls at the end of the season. But I think it's safe to say we've all seen the potential in this kid. He is a legitimate top 6 talent. Hopefully they pay him and we do not see any sort of lengthy contract negotiations or dispute. But power play one, Grits, very excited for him for that. Big opportunity for him. And then that means Connor Brown is likely getting power play 2 minutes with Hamilton, Luke, Palat, and Mercer. Very interesting combo there, going with the 2 offensive D-men in Dougie and Luke. Palat, Mercer, Connor Brown. Let's see what they can do as a power play 2 unit. I'm hoping that they never touch the ice and the Devils score on the first power play unit, any and all power plays they get tonight. But we'll keep an eye on that. Should be very interesting, but a lot of opportunity tonight. Xavier Parent making his NHL debut, and we look at his career, and some of these things are crazy. You look at his Pee-wee career when he was super young, and I don't even know how they have some of these stats. But let me see one thing real quick. Bear with me 1 second. So he's 24. Yeah, so they're going back to stats when he was super young, 24, so 12 years. So when he was 12 years old, when he was 12, he had 113 points in 30 games in Pee-wee. Look at that 13-14 season. 30 games played. He had 62 goals and 51 assists. Man, what a fun season that must have been for a 12-year-old Parent. My God, just dominating. But then we look at, obviously, things that matter. He's performed in the QMJHL juniors for the Mooseheads, 67 games. He had 34 points. Then in Sherbrooke, he had a 106-point season in 21-22, 51 goals, 55 assists for 106 points in 65 games. Completely insane. Was in the ECHL with the Thunder a few years back, over a point per game, 23 goals, 28 assists for 51 points. So this guy's produced at every level he's played at. And then last year with the Comets, 61 games played, 17 goals, 19 assists for 36 points. And the season before, in 71 games, he had 15 goals, 30 assists, 45 points. So this guy's a producer. And so far through 20 games with the Comets in the AHL this season, 20 games, 6 goals, 6 assists, 12 points. And so what is Xavier Parent going to bring? Obviously, not the easiest thing with limited minutes and playing on a fourth line, but make an impact. Make an impact and show you belong. We don't know how long Timo is going to be out for. We obviously don't know, what the team is thinking going forward if Timo is going to be out for several games, which at this point, if I had to predict, I would guess that he will be. And so there's other guys waiting to take that spot as well from Parent. So we will see. Will you stay in the lineup in Timo's absence, or will this be kind of a one and done for now? But hoping the best for Parent, wishing him all the luck in the world. He makes his debut tonight. I'm sure a night he's been thinking of, dreaming about for years and years since he was a little kid. And tonight his dream comes true. He's taken the ice at the Prudential Center, and he's playing in the show. He is called up to the show. But Xavier Parent, a guy that a lot of people have been kind of excited about. He looked pretty damn good, in my opinion, in development camp in the day that I went. Kind of stood out with a little bit of that flash. Also looked good in the prospects. They call it the Prospects Challenge, that rookie tournament in Buffalo. So we're going to see. What does he do in this fourth line role? Hoping for the best for him. But Timo's out, and this team has to find a way to win tonight. Huge game, every game going forward. Standing super tight, as you all know. We need all the points we could get. They've been an absolute disaster on home ice as of late, losing the last 4, shut out in the last 2. And hopefully things change tonight. And they're playing a Tampa Bay Lightning team without Vasilevsky and Hedman. So obviously, again, injuries and guys out of the lineup league-wide. It is a bit of an epidemic almost this season. Guys getting hurt during games, guys getting hurt off the ice. But it's a big one. A big one. The first of the 3-game homestand. What will occur? And we go to the chat. Stiz, oh boy, another day. A weird bit of Devils news. Wishing the best for Meier. Hoping for good news soon. Absolutely. Pro Bowl says he's not injured. Thank goodness. Hope Meier is okay. Nolan says, we're just watching the Devils video interviewing Parent. I haven't seen that yet. I was preparing for this. I will check that all out after I get off of here. Scott, without Timo, this is much closer to mid-level AHL roster. I mean, it's not quite an AHL roster, but obviously, if we're being honest, yeah, there's a lot of guys playing that, are less than ideal for your everyday NHL roster. But here we are, the New Jersey Devils. There's been an injury plague hanging over this team for years, it seems. And now we're getting a little bit of the, other outside elements, but got to go to war. No excuses. Got to get it done. We need as many points as possible on this homestand and going forward. And hopefully we see reinforcements brought in soon. Lots of rumors swirling around out there. As you all know, I don't want to derail and talk about that all day because you guys love talking about that. But I'm curious to see if Xavier Parent does good. Xavier Parent, promising prospect in the organization. Getting his chance tonight. Has been in Utica the past couple seasons. iScope, hi Ace. I got a top 0.2% view of your channel. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you. Top 0.2%. Wow, that's saying a lot. Nolan, I hope this new mid Xavier Parent proves himself. The other thing I think people need to realize is that I think a lot of you have unrealistic expectations, and especially with depth players, right? Like, this kid's coming in. He's not going to see a ton of ice time. He's playing on a fourth line, with Goaltending and Crookshank. Like, obviously, I hope he shows out and you're like, oh my God, this kid's amazing. Shout out to our sponsor today, Quick Check. If you're not familiar, they have a delicious coffee bar that keeps me fueled for the late nights, early mornings, throughout the day. Highly recommend. But I think people expect fourth liners, like in this situation, that Parent's going to come in and have a hat trick. Like, guys, be realistic. The first and foremost thing I'm looking for when these guys get called up and get their chance is, number one, don't be a liability. That's first and foremost. Do not stick out in a bad way where it's like, oh my God, this guy's terrible. Like, not playing any sort of defense whatsoever, lollygagging around. And I'm definitely not expecting that from him. And I'm not, accusing other guys of that. But I'm just saying, at a minimum, don't be a liability. And then, play your ass off and see if you could make a difference in the game, in the role you're given. And this is not a huge role. Fourth line, again, not offensive studs, that he's going to be playing with, but it is interesting to see what if that fourth line could get anything going. We haven't seen a ton out of them as of late, and I'm hoping that maybe him and Shank newer blood in the lineup can maybe get something going, but we will see. But temper your expectations. Even Crookshank, a lot of people are like, oh, and Crookshank has looked pretty decent, in my opinion, in the couple games we've seen from him. A breath of fresh air. And maybe that's something this team could use. The four directions, it just gets worse and worse. Obviously, it's out of our control in a real life situation. Yeah, some things you can't control. Obviously, things like this are one of them, and hopefully everything works out for Timo and we see him back and everything's fine. Nolan, can Fitz announce Quinn already? I'm sure this has been kind of going on in the background for quite some time now, but it just seems like, in my opinion, Vancouver just has to get it done. This is going to go on. Pro Bowl says, I don't want Quinn here at all. I'm very surprised at how many people are thumbing their nose at the potential acquisition. I mean, it's kind of crazy to me. Anytime you could get a top 10 player in the league, like, you should welcome that. And now the package or whatever we would have to send there, it's a different story. I could see people being upset with that, but I think there's just some people that are categorically like, I don't want Quinn Hughes. And I cannot, for the life of me, understand why. Have you guys seen this man play? Have you seen Quinn Hughes play? Yo, Holmes, man, the second line is not inspiring. I mean, listen, would I be a little more excited if we had a slightly flashier left wing on there? Sure. But I'm going to hope for the best. Pally, Mercer, and Cotter, I think in a different world, that could be a nice third line, maybe. That does scream like, wow, that's like a nice third line on a deep team. But with the guys out, that's a second line, guys. That's a second line, and hopefully we could get some center help soon, because I really do want to see Mercer back on the wing. We've talked about that, but, like, my God. Get him back on the wing where he thrives. But he's a good soldier. He's filling in admirably at center, but Grits, Brown, Glass is a really good line. Yeah, they played great last game. Four directions, Cotter and Plot on the second line. I hope Cotter balls out tonight. I want to see Cotter do it big. I love Paul Cotter. Hey, Russo, did Dadanov just put on permanent LTIR? Well, it seems like, I think he was just put on LTIR. I hate to be this way, but as far as I'm concerned, he's not even a part of this team. Like, even when he's healthy, like, I don't care. It didn't work out. Not every signing's going to work out. It is what it is. But I personally, when I'm looking at the lines and projecting this team going forward and looking at, hopeful playoff lines when healthy with some acquisitions, honestly, he's not even part of my equation. Now, I don't know what the team thinks about this, but, like, we haven't seen enough. He can't stay healthy. And in my opinion, it's a wrap. It did not work out. Failure to launch and move on from it. But who knows? We'll see how this all plays out. Yeah, disappointed regarding Dadonov. Dude was a steal, but guy can't stay healthy. No. And his contract was very incentive-based, based on games played and a bunch of other things. And I don't think he's going to get any of the bonuses based on how the season's gone. Merge Tube thought Shank has been holding his own, not noticing mistakes. Yeah, I mean, I think he's an improvement in that bottom six over Lamico. Pro Bowl says Lamico needs to be replaced with LeChance. Ethan Edwards is a defenseman, sir. I love Ethan Edwards, but he's a defenseman. But I would like LeChance to get another chance. The one game and gone, I just feel like it's been a little bit of a reoccurring thing with some of these depth guys where on the fourth line, we bring up a guy when there's an injury or whatever, we bring up a guy from Utica. He plays a game or two, and then we kind of go to the next one. Like Shank looks like, again, because there's so many injuries and the lack of depth at certain positions, it's kind of opened the door for Shank to make a case for himself. And I'm wishing that kid all the best too. Can he kind of find his way onto this roster for the long term? We're going to find out. But I do think as of right now, there's a couple spots that are kind of up in the air in terms of the long-term trajectory of this team. And Shank is probably going to be in the mix. And maybe Xavier Parent could play his way into that conversation as well. Grits can't sign. Yeah, so when the new year comes, I hope they get it done instead of waiting till the summer and talking about how it's a priority, blah, blah, blah. Retrosticks, I'd love to see Bratter step up and have a multi-point game tonight. A lot of people down on the Bratter as of late. I love the Bratter. Obviously been racking up assists, but I certainly would like to see him get some more pucks into the net. Seems like he's a little bit snake bitten in the goal scoring department. We've seen him. He's had a couple like semi breakaways, a couple other high danger chances, but for right now, they're not going in. But I'll take points and production any way we could get them, including from the fourth line. I don't need them to be pretty. I don't need anything other than we need goals, we need wins, we need points in the standings. But I would like to see Bratter kind of snap out of this goal drought. It is somewhat discouraging when a guy like Jack goes down and some of the big guns don't contribute in the way you're hoping. And again, he's leading the team in points, largely driven off of his assists because he is an excellent playmaker, but it's time to bury some goals. And we can't rely on the third line to do it all every night. But let's see how that third line looks tonight, following up their breakout performance in Ottawa. Timo timeout. 4 directions. Parent plays his nuts off every game. We're getting a guy with great energy. MK Chomp on this. Let's go Devils. Hey, Russo, keep this live on for another 4 hours, please. There's 0 chance of that. I got so much stuff to do, and I'm going to the game, so that's not going to happen. Pro Bowl, they had a players meeting some time ago. Hopefully that can turn things around. Well, players meetings are good and fine, but this is a results-driven business, and you could have all the meetings you want in the world, but in the end, the report card is only one thing, and it's pretty much the standings and your record. And this team must go to war tonight. Go to war. Go to war and get a big 2 points against the Lightning and win the season series. All tied up at 1 apiece right now. Nolan says, I would be thrilled if we can get 1 point tonight. That is defeatist loser mentality. Thrilled with 1 point? I'd be thrilled with 2. I'd be upset with 1. Obviously, 1's better than nothing, but Scott says, hope Parent plays well to increase his trade value. I don't know where you're coming up with that. I don't know why you would believe that he's going to be traded or that he has any sort of significant value at the moment to be included in a trade. Half Naked, Frankenstein, big game. Glad they called up the X Factor. That second line, I wish the best for them. Let's go, Paulie. Let's go, Paulie. But a smooth. Ace, I made my first pot roast last night. Very nice. Brian says, who knows how long Timo Meier will be out? Who knows? No, we don't know. But I'm thinking it could really be this homestand, which would suck. Because, again, in my opinion, if someone said going into today, before we heard this news, who was the last forward you would want to not be playing tonight? My answer would have, without a doubt, have been Timo Meier. Big BG Cheese, hopefully Bratt shows up tonight. I mean, he's been showing up, guys. I get it. You guys are just, man, I guess this is what happens when, I don't know why I'm surprised. When teams go through kind of losing streaks and whatever, everyone just gets super negative about everything. And lately, Bratt's kind of been the target of some of this animus. David Chimes, Ace, any reporting who was out for Tampa? They're banged up in 1-4 of their last 5. Yeah, I don't put too much into it, but Vasilevsky and Hedman are out. Out. Without your best defenseman, your elite goaltender, and obviously that plays to the Devils' advantages, but, when the team has played the way they have as of late, you can't count anything as a win. Retro says, wait and get him for free. No need to give off a haul of a package. We've beaten this topic to death as well, but win now. 2 playoff runs is huge. Huge. Would rather see him sooner than later. Wasted Youth Caper, Bratt and Casey for Tage. Oh, boy, you guys love these. I don't know that they would do that, that the Sabres would even trade him. And as far as I know, that it's just kind of speculation from different folks. If Buffalo ever makes him available, you guys know where I'm at with that. If Thompson ever becomes available, do whatever you can to get him here. Nolan, I'm just hoping he fills the hole tonight and as a part of some assists and such. Happy for the kid to get this opportunity. Hoping Timo is back ASAP and whatever happened to him is just a scare. That would be nice. Pro Bowl says Detroit can go and trade for him. Hopefully Buffalo makes Tage available. Logan Cotter can be a beast. I get the idea of that line, but you're right. That's a third line at best. Yeah, but when you are not at full health and now you have these other issues with guys coming out of the lineup, you got to make do with what you got. And again, guys, for anyone, and there's not many of them, I think most people are rational in this conversation, is like, look at what Sheldon Keefe has been handcuffed with. Anyone remotely pointing the finger at Sheldon Keefe is beyond lost. This is tonight's, if you just look at this lineup, and honestly, It's not even as bad as many of you are making it out to be, but it's obviously not ideal. I mean, where do you start, right? If we're being real, ideally on an NHL ideal roster, you don't want Stefan Nason as your top line right wing. Let's just be real. I love Nace, but top line, first line. So right away you see, okay, with the top line's not even ideal, right? We don't even have enough guys to assemble a legitimate top line. And then you look at the second line, I would love them as a third line. Like I said earlier, that looks to me like, wow, that's a great third line. And then you look at Gritz, Glass, and Brown. That's another one that's like, I think, a very good third line, which is what they are. But, not ideal top line. You essentially have no real second line and two kind of third lines. And then a fourth line that, if we're being real, none of those guys would be on your NHL team regularly. Let's just be honest, right? This is a fourth line entirely of AHL type guys. And so when you look at it from top to bottom, the roster, the lineup as is not great because of all these injuries and all these other things. And so when you are Sheldon Keefe, he's been handcuffed with these sort of problems since he's been here. And so for anyone blaming him or talking smack to him, like, look at what he's had to deal with. He hasn't gotten much help in terms of reinforcements, and he's been forced to play AHL guys up front and on defense for a ton of games since he's been here, including the playoffs. So it's really tough, but they got to gut one out and keep it moving. Blackatron. This team is getting hard to watch. We need to make it to this Olympic break to lick our wounds and come back strong and healthy. Well, I mean, the Olympic break is still nearly 2 months away. I mean, there's so many games before then. This team better find a way to start banking points well before that, because like I've talked about continuously, it is somewhat concerning how tight the standings are, obviously, and another sort of slide like we just went on could really put us in a hole and behind the eight ball, and you don't want to see it. So you got to keep clawing points because the division and the conference is super tight. Just the name, can we take a second to appreciate how every team on the Metro is above NHL or 500 points percentage? Toughest division in the NHL. Zero room for 5-game skids. Couldn't agree more. First and last separated by 7. Pally and Nason in the top 6 is tough. Completely agree. Across the board. Pro Bolt says Devils are a wild card at best. I think they can still finish in the top 3 in the Metro. Would like to see Edwards over Chalowski. Lobs, he says we need to see more of LaChance. He's very skilled. I like LaChance. You guys know I'm a big LaChance guy. We'll see. Will he get another opportunity this season? Remains to be seen. LaChance needs another chance, and hopefully he replaces Lamico. Kyle's putting out there for Hallinan. I miss Hallinan. Dude's a warrior. Lamico has been underwhelming. Hallinan needs a chance as well. I'm a Hallinan guy. I'm officially a Hallinan guy. Anyone who remotely has snarl, plays with a little bit of that heavier, edgier, more violent, your boy Ace will be a fan of theirs and be rooting for them. And I do think this team desperately needs a lot more of that injected into this lineup. Let's be real. We got a little glimpse of it. Well, a big glimpse of it, I guess, rewinding further back in that Columbus game. And in my opinion, we failed in that regard. They did not raise their physicality to the level it needed to be. Columbus bullied us. They smacked us around, and then they won the game. Probably one of the most disheartening regular season losses for me personally in a while. Just to see Dilly get dropped like that, it was a sucker punch. But to blow a 2-0 lead and then get our asses kicked in all the fights and see Dilly go down, that one really was gut-wrenching for me. Damian, yo, Ace, it's been a while. I'm finally going that official date I was talking about tonight. Wow. My man Damian. Oh, we need some more details, sir. Where are you going? You got to set the table now. Some of the people here, I'm sure, were here when this first kind of happened. And we're very curious. This is the gal you brought to the Devils game, correct? A few weeks ago, you brought her to the game, and you said it was a pre-date. I think you called it a pre-date. We're invested in this story. We need some more details. David says Colton White, unsung hero, solid D from 9th depth chart role. For sure. With all the guys we have on defense, I don't think many people would have predicted that Colton White would have played this many games, and it's kind of wild with the horrible luck on D for a position that was so deep to start the season, quickly depleted with all these injuries. But Colton White has really filled in admirably. Like his game, and who would have thought, right? I mean, like you said, so he was, probably about 9th on the depth chart to be playing this. How many games has he played so far? Let me see. And has just filled in seamlessly. And it's crazy. He's been in the organization 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I forgot. He had that stint in Anaheim where he played 46 games, a career high. Yeah, in 21-22, he played 27 games, and he's played 10 now. 94 games played in his career over the past 6 years, including this one. David says, Timo did not get injured. He's tending to a family matter. That's all they said. It was kind of very vague. Half Naked Frankenstein. Is anyone in Utica that could be a fill-in 4C? I hope we snag Ryan O'Reilly or somebody soon. We don't need first-round picks. Completely agree. Getting a 3C would be nice. Pushing Glass to 4C. I think he would be. I mean, but listen, it's not an attack on Glass. Glass has played pretty damn good and has exceeded my expectations, if I'm being honest. And he looks great with Grits and Brown. With that being said, I think that line would be even better with a guy like O'Reilly. And then you put Glass to 4C. That definitely makes the team deeper and makes them a much better, more balanced attack. I would love to see it. I don't know if we will see a 3C brought in, but I know everyone's been screaming from the rooftops for one for quite some time. Yeah, we got guys on PTO contracts, no depth. Damien, if Nason was playing with Mercer and Cotter, it could be a solid third line as well. I'd rather that. Wasted Youth, smash the like for Ace. Yeah, thanks. Hit the thumbs up for your boy. If Dougie and Nemo go, D pairs for 26, 27, Quinn, Covey, Salayev, Siegs, Luke, Dillon. I wouldn't pencil Salayev in here so quickly. I think he's going to have to do some developing in the A. I definitely don't think he's going to be ready just to be thrust into the NHL next season. That would be kind of stunning to me. Keefe is doing great for what he has. Completely agree. Anyone pointing the finger or saying a negative word about Sheldon Keefe, it's like, go back and look at these lineups. He could only do what he could do with the pieces he's given. He's not out there obtaining players. And so he's constantly, I mean, aside from, having to play AHL guys all the time, he's constantly, we can't even get like chemistry between lines because of all the injuries. It's like, yeah, we're bringing in all these guys and he's got to shuffle it all around. It's been wild. I do think he's a good coach. I think he's gotten a raw deal since he's been here because of the injuries and the lack of help. But hopefully he can find a way to get this team to perform as good as possible and get these claw for these points until we get healthier and or some reinforcements from the outside, which you guys know I desperately, desperately want. Damien says, that's her. We're going to the game tonight. I got tickets to the restaurant section. Let's go, Damien. You baller, you. The restaurant? I made it there. I haven't been there in forever. Up until this season, there was a random game. I forget which game it was. A few weeks back, I sat in the restaurant. The restaurant's phenomenal. Phenomenal. I'm sure you guys will have a great time. Hopefully you see a win. And hopefully they have some good food in the restaurant, which they normally, it's always good food. But I get very excited when it's like the bloody steak. I'm a bloody rare steak guy. But we're going to need to hear the post-game report, Damien. We're all going to be waiting for that later. NJDevs28, the Devils right now are 17-12-1. I'm not getting hyped up too much if we make the playoffs or not, but if we do get Quinn, he could help us get there. I'm not getting hyped for anything right now. I just want this team to continue to bank points where they can and get into the playoffs and hopefully go on a magical run. And maybe some people will call me delusional, but I still believe in this team when healthy with a couple pieces added. Now, will we ever be fully healthy? I don't know. Will we get the pieces from the outside? I don't know that either. But even just Pesci and Jack Hughes, monstrous help and improvements to this team. And if we get a couple pieces from the outside, I think we could be a really dangerous team. But obviously, it's discouraging what we've seen over the past couple weeks. Half Naked Frankenstein, big Glass fan, especially as 4C's got a little dog in him. Bill Murr says Glass is awesome. David, White played well for us in 21-22. I remember it well. Got a shot with the Ducks next season, but that team sucked and makes everyone look bad. Been to AHL since. Playing NHL level depth D now. That's the best first and second date ever. Yeah, Devils games are this guy's a baller out here. Restaurant for date 2. Let's go. Half Naked Frankenstein. Remember Brader had a hat trick against Tampa a few seasons back. Going to make Vasilevsky's hurt. Vasilevsky is hurt, and I don't even know who the hell's their backup. Let's check something here. Johansson. Okay. What is this guy? I'm not even familiar with this man. Who is this guy? He's 6-5 on the year with a 253 goals against and a 907. It's not too bad. Hopefully he gets lit up tonight. Battle of the Swedes. Johansson versus Markey. If I don't give the report tonight, I'll do so for the next game. Okay. Brian, Jesper Bratt has been due for a goal. He needs one tonight. I would love to see him get several. I want the floodgates open. I want the Bratter goal-scoring floodgates to be open. And I do think he has streak ability in him. Like, we could see him rip off 3 or 4 games where he's getting points and maybe scoring goals in half of them, but would love to see him bury some tonight. Listen, any way they come, I'm not picky. Any way we could get them, get them. They have not scored on home ice in an eternity. Is there a way to post a message on the Jumbotron? Oh, you guys are getting crazy. This is either a second date or the first real date, because he called the first one, which I would have called the date, by the way. He called that a pre-date, but he's not proposing. I mean, what are you guys talking about the Jumbotron? What do you want him to put on the Jumbotron? Do it for Timo. Damien says, she and I have a 1-0 record. Let's make it 2-0. Very nice. Half Naked Frankenstein, greasy goals tonight. Throw it on net. I want to see everybody crash the net. As a team, just get to the net and rough this man up. I'm obviously a fan of that type of play. The Senators were employing it regularly in the last game. Markey ran over 5 million times, bumped, battered before they finally called a penalty, probably mostly in part because Markey was jawing at the refs to hopefully, kind of get in their ear to look for it going forward. And eventually it did work because Tkachuk got called for a goaltender interference that I think he earned. But I wouldn't mind seeing a couple goaltender interferences on the Devils, assuming that the penalty kill shows up and they could kill off a penalty. Obviously, special teams last game, absolutely atrocious. That has to be a major focus for this team going forward. You cannot have those sort of special teams performances. The Devils went 0 for 3 on the power play, gave up 3 power play goals on 3 tries. And so you go 0 for 3 on the penalty kill. You go 0 for 3 on the power play. That is a Hall of Fame garbage performance for special teams, collectively going 0 for 6, and it cannot happen. Wedgwood, oh my God, Wedgwood's hurt now too. I'm a little bit behind on my news. It's been a busy day. He got pulled during a shootout by a concussion spotter. I mean, is he out for good though? Oh, I'm reading this real quick. I think he's fine. TL Production, do you know how many Devils players are in the Olympics in Milano? I mean, I think it's going to be Jack Hughes for USA, Jesper Bratt and Jacob Markstrom for Sweden, and then the Swiss guys for Switzerland. Siegs, Timo, and Nico Hischier. And actually, I think, how would you not include Nemo for Slovakia? I'm pretty sure he'll be playing too. Yeah, so I think that'll be it. Jack for USA, Bratter Markey for Sweden. Then we got 3 Swiss guys. Nico, Timo, Siegs, and then Nemo for Slovakia should be a given. So that's 7. I think that'll be it. Should be 7 guys. Nolan says, if Bratter goes on a scoring streak, I'm buying his jersey in shop tonight. Bratter's a good jersey to get. You guys already know my deal. I cannot. It's very hard for me to on so many levels. But my jersey game for jerseys I will personally wear will be limited to the legends and cup winners. And I hope we win a cup and I could buy a jersey of a newer guy. But I'm a little bit snobby that way. If I'm going to wear your name on my back, and especially now that I'm older, right? My Marty and Stevens jerseys I got, over 20 years ago. Vintage. I roll with the vintage 20 years ago. And obviously they're older than me. I've talked about this before, but I do find it weird a little bit to wear a jersey of a guy that at this point, some of these guys, I could be their father, which is psychotic to think about. It seemed like just yesterday, in some ways it seems like just yesterday. In some ways it seems like an eternity. But just yesterday, I was going to practices and going to games with my parents as a kid and begging for, Devils merch and all this stuff. And so for me, I am waiting to get another jersey to wear with a name, that is. I have some blank, practices and specialty jerseys. But in terms of wearing someone's name on my back, you got to win a cup. You must win a Stanley Cup for me to do that, to wear a youngin's name on my back. This isn't Valentine's Day where they show the couples. Maybe you'll get on the kiss cam, though. Do they still do that? I don't think I've seen it in a while. That might be an extinct thing. Half Naked Frankenstein. I know things have been rough, but I'm pretty stoked on that power play one, as am I. Brat, Nico, Nemo, Nason, Grits, shooting gallery. Nason gets those rebounds. Rebounds, tips, whatever it is. Hopefully Nason gives the goalie hell tonight. I would love to see Nace kind of get it going on the power play, a spot that he was very effective in last season as the net front guy, cleaning up the loose change, did a lot of damage on the power play in front of that net, and hopefully we see him get back there tonight. Amagi, let's all pull together and get Ace a Crookshank jersey for the Rock. Oh, boy. I'm sure someone will get it, though. It seems like a thing nowadays, right? I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong, but it does seem like a thing where people will, and I have a lot of theories about this. I'm not gonna talk about them all in depth because it could be kind of mean. But it seems like people will get a jersey of a somewhat obscure depth player for the sake of like being the only one or amongst only a few people that have it. I have a lot of thoughts about this, but I'm going to keep some of them to myself. Honky Lips, I'm the same way with jerseys. Mine are of old players. My family bought me a Nico jersey, so I have to wear it now. Yeah. I'm sticking with, I have to stay true to my roots. Cup winners only for now. And if we ever win a cup, I will certainly get probably multiple jerseys from that team. But I'm trying to think. A lot of my buddies are not this way, and have had a ton of jerseys of different guys over the years. And now listen, I mentioned before, I am a game-worn jersey collector. And so I do have a ton of jerseys of guys from, non-cup winning teams. But a lot of my friends over the years had, some had Henrique jerseys and some had Zach Parise and some had Taylor Hall and Covey and this guy. And there was a couple Clarksons. And during that whole kind of exciting time, let's be honest, that 2012 playoff run and trip to the finals was the most exciting time in Devils history post their last cup. So if you go at any point from 2003 was their last cup till now, 22 and a half years, the most exciting time in between that, or at any point during that time period, was that 2012 run, which had a lot of exciting players. And a lot of my friends got jerseys of those guys at different points, but I stayed true. Cup winners or bust. Half Naked Frankenstein, I have some clowny jerseys. VTech's 40th patch, Holt Stadium Series. It's right to wait. Ooh, a Holt Stadium Series. That's brutal. Yeah, you're really jumping the gun out here. Nolan says that's a valid argument about buying new jerseys. Had to get Markstrom's, and with the Stadium Series jersey, you had to choose a player, and I got Nico. Do they still sell retro color ones? You could find them in different places. Or, probably not. What do you mean by retro, actually? What is your definition of retro? Do you mean the old one, or like the retro night red with the green that they did, or they did the heritage, which is the white? But if you're looking for apparel, guys, I just dropped a link in the chat. Fanatics, crazy sale, link in the chat. Click on that. Crazy sale. I've showed some of my hauls. I'll show later, but I bought a bunch of hats. Lululemon is on sale. Lululemon's not normally on sale, and I'm not a Lululemon guy whatsoever, but I bought my first couple pieces of Lululemon, and the material is so nice. I feel so bougie now. Like, oh, this is my Lululemon. I feel like a bougie hockey fan, but their stuff is good. But check out that link. They have tons of stuff on sale. Comb through all the stuff. They have tons of great sales, and some of the stuff is dramatically discounted. BG Cheese, you should get a Crowder jersey. He's before my time. I could certainly respect it, but I would never buy a jersey of a guy that I did not watch play. Devils are beastly, so Jack is probably going to miss between 18 and 27 games. After 27 is the Olympic break. What do you think the boys need to go over that span to be in the final wild card spot? I mean, they're going to have to go as close to 600 points percentage without him as possible. Even like if they could be like 550 points percentage, that would be great. I'm hoping he comes back, in plenty of time before the Olympic break. There is, let me just count these real quick. 2, 5. So there's 10 games left in December. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so if he could come back January 14th and get against the Kraken, that'd be 16 more games missed. 16 more games. Win 8 or 9 of them and get a couple loser points, and I think they'll be, they don't have to necessarily be in a playoff spot when he comes back. They just have to be in the thick of it. And, not in a hole. As long as they're in striking distance when we get healthy and we're not trying to climb out of a hole, I think they'll be fine. And hopefully, again, when they get healthy, we could go on a tear. Magi, it's cool to get an obscure depth player, but you really got to like them and not do it just to be different. I was going to get a Lazar, but then the dude got traded. Jersey 61, I'd like to see a Devil blowout tonight so I could take it easy on the bourbon. Go Devs. Would love to see a win of any variety, guys. At this point, I don't care how they come, the goals, how they come, how they're scored. I don't care about anything. Just win the game. Robbie's bench toss. He's sure reverse retro 1.0 is the only current player jersey I own. As far as wearing a name out, I'm with you, Ace. Being 38, it feels weird to put a 20-something back there. Yeah. The first time I even considered it, and it wasn't a very long consideration. Again, everyone was very excited during that, that Henrique, Kovalchuk, Parise time. I was very close to getting a Parise. It was very hard to resist because he really was my favorite player at the time. And when you look back at it, right, like, Zach was a dog. Like, wow. I mean, how great would it be to have a guy like that on this team right now? I still see people at the Rock wear Hall jerseys, and I just question why. Just wear red and black at that point. That is a little bit of a, I don't know. I could see both ways. I could see both ways of it. I do think, like, for a guy like that, franchise legends are different. But a guy like that, I feel like if you're going to the game, like, buy a new jersey or just wear a hoodie. And if you don't, just wear the colors, like you said. It is kind of strange. But some people, only have the one jersey and they want to wear the jersey and they don't care the player. I'm not going to judge them for it. I mean, listen, Taylor Hall dragged that 2017-18 team to the playoffs, and he's our only Hart Trophy winner in team history. So, NJ Devs 28, I'm pumped for tonight's game, but I'm going to laugh if the Devils demolish them. Lightning 7-1. What? Hey, Russo, Ace wearing his Peter Harold jersey tonight. I definitely don't have that. Definitely don't have a Harold jersey. Crazy Alex, I want a Stadium Series jersey, but now that I think about it, I want no name so I could always wear it. I mean, listen, certain guys will age better than others. But, I'm always a fan of the no name. I know I might be in the minority with that, but the whites with the green and red, you probably got to go hunt for them. They stopped selling them, like at retail through these different, let me just see something here. But there are a bunch of places you could probably still find one. Honky Lips, I still have my Walter Payton Chicago Bears jersey I bought at Herman's. Oh my God, I remember Herman's. Sporting Goods at the Garden State Plaza. I saved my own money for that bad boy when I was about 12. Very nice. Nolan, thinking to buy a sweater. I'll see what they have in the shop tonight because I get rewards points on the NJ Devils app for other purchases. Okay. Damien, hey, I have a McLeod bootleg Stadium Series jersey I bought because I believed in him and had the delusion that if I ever met him, I would give it to him since he never got one. He did not. Half Naked Frankenstein. My brother-in-law told me he got a Camilleri jersey during a real weird time in his life. And Camilleri, another kind of weird acquisition and brief history here. What happened to Timo? Timo's dealing with a family health issue. Going to be without him. Hopefully not for too long. Hopefully everything's okay with him, but we'll find out. Paul, I bought an Eric Jelena 44 jersey and he was gone the next season. I then changed the nameplate to Miles Wood. Now it sits in my closet untouched. Man, you got a Jelena jersey? I mean, listen, I was excited too. He had a monster slapper. I was excited for him. He was kind of a big boy too. I thought he was going to be like somewhat of a long time, that he could have been a long tenured Devil, but it obviously didn't play out that way. Amagi, you can find a Heritage jersey for a great price, but it probably has Taylor Hall on it, so you'd have to get it stripped. Little project. Crazy Alex, although I do want like a Brodeur or Legend jersey. Yeah, those obviously never go out of style. My Marty and Stevens jerseys will be relevant until the day I die. Now, when I'm older, as we get further and further away from the glory years of the New Jersey Devils, and hopefully there's some new glory years on the horizon, I would like to believe that, there could be some new prosperous times to this organization that sees them win a Stanley Cup before I die. At this point, I just want one. And if it doesn't happen with this core, I will be forever disgusted because the best, this was a very good core that's been here for entirely too long to have only won a single playoff round. But we shall see how that plays out. But I do think I just went on a tangent. I don't even know. I do think this team needs to freaking win a cup. We need to win a cup and win it soon. We'll see, guys. But I will be back after the game, obviously, with the post-game live. If you're looking for gifts for yourself or others, look at the pinned link in the chat on Fanatics. They are having some crazy sales. I've went on multiple shopping sprees and probably will place a couple more orders before it's all said and done because I can't resist Devils merch and I can't resist a good deal. And Lululemon, never on sale. I joined the Lulu Club. I'm a new member. Look at me. Lululemon. Never thought I'd see the day. But yeah, Timo out. Xavier Parent making his NHL debut. Hopefully can contribute on that fourth line. We see Paulie Cotter getting bumped up to the second. Big opportunity for him. Hopefully he makes the most of it. And Grits. Power play one Grits. Power play one Grits. Let's go. I love Grits, guys. I know a lot of you do too, but I could see him being a longtime Devil and having a great career here. And I'd love to see him win a cup with some variation of this team. Hey, Russo, what's your favorite piece of merchandise that you own? Merchandise, meaning like memorabilia or like apparel that I wear? You got to be a little more specific there, my guy. My Grail is a Lemieux white Ultrafill. I would love one of those too. I have a Scott Stevens that I've been delaying. I don't know why. I guess because there's some, I forget why, but I want to get the 95 cup patch put on it. But I do have a beautiful 95 Stevens Ultrafill that I'm waiting to, I just get so scared of wearing the white jerseys at the game. I mean, in the end, like whatever, I'm going to spill shit on it and you could clean it, but it's so snowy white and pristine. I typically do not wear white. I don't really buy white clothing, period, for that reason. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, I should probably at games wear a bib. Like, and I don't even know if that would help. I have very bad luck with spillage. But I do have to get that patch. It's long overdue for my the day you die, do you have a will and who gets your collection? I'm actually in the middle of processing all of that. It will go to my guys, my nephews. I haven't decided how good of a friend I want to be, but I'll probably give away. I'll probably put a couple of my buddies for some of this. A couple items will probably be for a couple of my friends that I know would really appreciate it. Other big time Devil fans, but the majority of it will definitely go to my nephews. If I still have all of it at that point. Robbie's bench toss, weren't the jerseys airing it in the 95 finals? So I believe so, but I have to double check because I do think that some guys may have had ultrafill. I'm going to have to double check on that because back then it was not as standardized as it is now. They did a lot of funky things with jerseys and changes and stuff. So before I do it, I will have to confirm that, but I know that at least a lot of them were the air knit. I'm a purist in that way too. So if there was no ultrafill in the rotation for that playoffs, then I wouldn't do it. And then I'll just keep it as is. That would actually save me a jersey and or piece of equipment. There's so many, man. I can't pick, but the pads, the pads right here are definitely amongst it. And this is a Marty glove and blocker. Like all my Marty stuff is super special to me. Marty game worn items, game used items are just spectacular. This is the Heat and Helite 4 is hands down, in my opinion, my humble opinion, the most iconic Martin Brodeur pad of all time. Of the many different designs that he wore over his career, whenever I picture Marty or think about Marty, I will always picture this setup. The Helite 4 pads with the matching glove and blocker and the stick from that time period will always be my favorite. So the Heat and pads are definitely up there. I do have, and this is just, not to brag, but I do have legitimately some items that are hockey Hall of Fame worthy. And honestly, I believe just regular Marty Heat and Helite 4 pads are Hall of Fame worthy too. I mean, if you've ever been to the Hall of Fame, not everything they have is like from an iconic moment. They just have random stuff from iconic players. And so in reality, almost anything of Marty's game used, game worn is Hall of Fame worthy by default because of who Marty is in the pantheon of hockey history. But then beyond just that, I do have items that were used or worn in super iconic moments or games in Devils history. I'm not going to reveal them yet. I've thought about different things that I might do with it, but I do have some stuff that I think people's mind will be blown that with some of the stuff, I think, given their historical significance. But for now, I'm going to go with, to answer your question, short answer, A. Russo, or not so short answer. And I have a couple Marty game-worn jerseys as well. My Marty stuff, these pads amongst them, obviously glove and blocker from a different year. But the Marty stuff is always extra special to me for sure. I feel like it's a point of debate. Yeah, the jersey purist. I'm kind of that way too. What's your favorite Devils hat that you own out of all of them? Honestly, hold on. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna go grab it. And you guys are gonna probably be disappointed, but I'm an old man, and you guys know this. Hold on. Let me look for the hat. It might not be in this one. I might have moved it. Oh, we got it. You guys should know what it is, too. How could it be anything but, folks? My favorite Devils hat, hands down, the 1995 Stanley Cup champions. How could it not be? This is just such an iconic design. You got the Devils patch on there with the Canadian and American flags. I remember first cup win for the Devils, obviously, as well. But there's just something about this hat, and maybe it's nostalgia overload. Maybe it's just purely nostalgia from the cup years, but this will never, ever not be my favorite hat. First Devils Cup win, I immediately get transformed back in time. And I remember watching the guys get this on the ice. I forget where I begged my mom. We went the next day and got all the shirts and the hats. This is made by Starter back then. This will forever be my favorite New Jersey Devils hat. Yeah, it's all like jacked up too. What the hell is going on here? Forever my favorite Devils hat. The 95 Cup champs. Zach says, sup, old man? Let's get this dub tonight. Would love to see the dub any way possible. I'm not positive. Maybe it technically wasn't an air knit, but it was a knit of some kind that most of the guys wore. Like it had maybe I'm using the wrong terminology. I'm not as, some of my buddies are scientific with the names. I forget. I'm old, but the jerseys most of them wore had the holes in it. Marty's game used jockstrap as Ace's crown jewel. No, it's definitely not. I have some of the crown jewels. There's still some out there that I want, but I have some of them. And one day they might be revealed. I've been trying to think of a cool way to do it, and I have a pretty cool idea that's going to take some time. I have a video in my head that if it happens, it could be retirement. It would be the peak of the mountain for me. There's no going up from this one concept that I have. Zach, you must have been on Cloud Nine when you acquired those Heaton pads. My man, you have no idea. And this is going to sound crazy, right? But like the joy that they brought me, it probably was similar to the way people feel when children are born. I think that's what it was. When I finally had them, and they're photo matched to a ton of games too. Some crazy photos where you see, for those that don't know photo matching, you could see all the distinct marks, and you put up a photo, or you pull up a photo of Marty wearing them, and then you look at the pad and you see all the hack marks and puck marks and things. Take this off. Let me take the starter hat off, readjust. Oh, all right. But yeah, I was beyond elated when I got them. Crazy stuff. Zach, Reeboks are not nearly as iconic, but still iconic. I had a pair as a kid when I thought I was going to be a goalie. The Reeboks were nice, but there's nothing compared for longtime Devils fans. The Heatons are just, pads are sick. Thanks. Thank you. Love them. Gustavo, Buffalo Sabres fan here, loving this fall favorite team, hates the dirty Jersey Devils shrug. I mean, how boring is your life? How boring is your life to come into a Devil stream midday to just talk nonsense? Zach, the collection of Devils worn gear might need its own series. Oh man. It could be a very lengthy series. And I say this humbly, there is way more than anyone would ever fathom. Put it that way. It could be a very long series. A very long series indeed. Use the energy towards hating your own team, Buffalo Bozo. Stanislav, I want to throw up. Cannot wait to see him back in the lineup. Are you referring to Timo? I think we all can't wait to see him back. The man from Jers 201. What's up, Ace? Got a long drive for work. Perfect time to drop a live. Well, glad you could join us during your work drive. But no Timo Meier tonight for the New Jersey Devils. Xavier Parent making his NHL debut. And what's he going to do with this opportunity? A. Russo says, A-Steph got the cup in his house hidden somewhere. No, I don't have the cup. Zach, I love my Prudential Center black camo hat. I'm sure many people have it from that night, but it's a good one. Love that one. I got that one as well. I think that was, last year or 2 years ago? This year they did where the hell is it? I got to figure out a good way to organize my hats. I've been kind of eyeing up some different things online. I have so many now. They're kind of piled up, but it's getting annoying. Jesse, what happened to Timo? Just saw this pop up between meetings and also just saw a report from ESPN that Dawes may be on the move. I didn't see that. Where do we see that? I mean, that's just kind of what we've all expected because Where does he fit in long term? Where did you see the Dawes report? I'm curious. Let me know. I'll pull it up and we'll share it with the group. We're completely shot without Timo now. Come on, Snow. Come on, Snow. Have some faith, sir. Grits is gonna have a monster performance tonight. Honky Lips on 47 Ace. I remember that series and that hat very well. Yeah, the 95 Cup is always a classic. Always a classic. Did you see Buffalo's going to shop Tuck? I mean, I think a lot of people expected that as well. I do like Tuck, again, for the 9 millionth time on this topic. Love Tuck. My issue is he's going to want a lot of money. He's going to want, are you looking to pay him $12 million? Now, in a vacuum, I love the guy. I think he'd be a great fit on this team, but I'm just looking for a guy with term. $12 million or whatever it is that he's going to want is a ton. Also, keep in mind, if Nemitz is still here, which is probably 50-50 at this point, I do think if we do make a trade for Quinn, he is going the other way. But if Nemitz is still here, he's getting a massive payday this summer. Gritsuk has to get paid. And, so how does this all play out long-term in terms of salary cap implications? I just don't see being able to fit what Tuck's going to want in the plan. Jason, if I'm the Devils, I'm 100% in on him. The money scares me. Buffalo has touched the playoffs hasn't touched playoffs in 14 seasons. Kick rocks. It's a brutal time. Imagine being a fan of them. I mean, it's really brutal. I feel bad for their fans, honestly. Hey, Russo, I wish white was our home and red away. So that's how it was forever until the 2003-04 season was the first season that they switched to red at home. And I'm going to be forever biased, probably. I know a lot of people will disagree, but I did like the white at home, and I would not mind them changing back to that. I did like the white at home. Have you watched this team lately? Yeah, 11 mil. Like, how does that fit? How does 11 mil fit with all the other things they're going to have to do? It just seems like a stretch. Where is this money coming from? Now, outside of, significant salary being traded away elsewhere, there's a lot of guys that have to get paid. And 11 million for him, I just don't know. Do you want him to be the highest paid guy on your team, at least temporarily, until Quinn Hughes comes here? I do think Quinn Hughes at worst case scenario, or depending on how you look at it, but will come here in free agency, and he's going to be paid way more than that. I'd trade Mercer in a pick or Bratt. Lindy loves some ex-Devils. I like Tuck, but the money, does that make sense for this team where they are right now? I don't know. There's so many other things I would need to know before I could say that. Like, where does everything else stand with who's here, who's not, who's getting paid what? Zach, I'll be honest, personally, I'd hate to see Mercer leave. He's been streaky with his points season to season, but he's a great two-way forward. I love Mercer too, but I would not let him be a sticking point in a big time deal. I think you give Tuck less money, more years. I mean, isn't he going to want let me see. I'm sure he's going to be looking for the max. Isn't that what all these guys are doing? So, he's going to want the max. So if everyone's offering the max, how are you offering more than the max? I wonder if Luke should have signed for a bit less to allow room. I mean, obviously we would have liked that to happen. But it is what it is. He signed for what he did. I'm just looking for something here. Who said something about the Dawes? Where did you see something about Dawes? If we go back to the meat on the bone scale, Luke didn't leave much. It was probably like a 4, I said. He cleaned that thing pretty good. Now, hopefully in our next conversations, when it's talking about somebody signing a deal, I'm hoping most of our guys follow somewhere like on the 3 on the meat on the bone scale, because 4s and 5s, it's going to be hard to build a contender. And if nothing else, Forever Fitz has given us the meat on the bone scale. Even if he delivered multiple seasons of underwhelming results, we will always have several things that will always be at least alive on this channel. Heavier, edgier, more violent, definitely one of them. Coming in second, the meat on the bone scale. There's so many, But yeah, Luke was really like a 4 on this thing. And really, he might even be, but Luke may have even been like a 4.5. Like somewhere between, that and the clean the bone, but I'll call it a 4. But hopefully the next guys, including his brother Quinn, are living more in that 3 world. We're looking for Quinn to sign a deal that's leaving a little more of the meat. Quinn's got to come in on like a 3. He's got to come in like a 3. Luke, I do think he gave us a little one. I do. Granted, it doesn't look like that right now, but I do think he left a little. I got to give him a 4 on the scale. Snow's on a rampage. None. He's having the worst year of his career. Honkulip says, damn, now I want to eat wings. I always want to eat wings, right? Wings are delicious. Maybe a underrated food group. Buffalo wings, if they're good, are phenomenal. Man, everyone down on Luke. Morkel, Jackson. Luke was a little too greedy. Beachmaster, hopefully Quinn is a team-friendly deal. The scary part is, what is considered team-friendly in 2 years from now? I depending on what other deals are signed before, I think some people may be shocked as to what is considered team-friendly in 2 years for a guy like Quinn Hughes. Like I could see $15, $16 million being considered team-friendly. Like team-friendly. I could have asked for 20. Wild stuff. Matthew Nyes took a nice discount. He's a stud power forward. I like Nyes. He took less than 8. What's Nemitz going to get? 8 by 7? I mean, if I'm Nemitz, I'm telling them I want the Luke Hughes deal. I mean, I think he'd be justified in that. And again, I think that's another thing that kind of gets lost in this whole Quinn Hughes sweepstakes conversation and all that stuff is that, I love Nemo too and would love to see him be here long term. But the reality is after this season, he is going to be paid what he's worth. And so when you look at that with all the other things Devils trying to improve up front and blah, 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 like, it makes it a little bit easier pill to swallow for me, knowing that, like, okay, well, the money that was going to have to go to Nemo is going towards Quinn Hughes, essentially. I don't know if that's going to help anyone's psyche at all, but it certainly helped mine when you really just start thinking about it. Like, all right, well, it's not like we're trading away a guy that's locked up on a team-friendly deal for years. He's restricted after this summer, and he's going to get paid. So you have to look at it like, if you're getting Quinn Hughes, like that money is going towards his contract. Going forward. Sherry Dev says, now I want some wings. David, what's up, Ace? I think reality is hitting me. They're going to trade for Quinn and either Nemitz, Mercer, or Dawes gets dealt. I don't like the idea, but no sense of being in denial any longer. I completely agree, and I don't think it's going to be either. I think Nemitz and Mercer probably are a good possibility, and it's going to sting. But you got to do what you got to do, and when you have a chance to bring in a guy like Quinn Hughes, you must do it. Zach, if Quinn becomes a Devil, I think Luke should focus on his defensive game and being more physical rather than being the guy to make a play at the blue line. That's what Quinn will do. I think you want Luke to be a well-rounded two-way defenseman, which he's showed signs of being able to be. Obviously has struggled mightily without Pesce, and obviously you don't want a guy like him to be relying on a guy like Pesce, but the reality is, again, this kid is 22 years old, guys. He's going to get better, has plenty of room for growth. I do think playing with, on a team with Quinn will help him tremendously to have that sort of mentor around all the time. Your brother, I mean, I think that would help his game as well. Rumor is Cotter plus Dawes for Bunting. Where is this? Is this just like Twitter nonsense, or is this a real thing? Now I need to look. Where are you seeing this? Dawes is going to be traded eventually. I mean, you would think so. It makes sense, right? He's not going to re-sign here. Again, barring that there is not a career-ending injury to one of our goaltenders, with them both being signed, Markey for 2 more years after this one, and then Jake Allen for 4 more years after this season, his road to the NHL is certainly blocked. And so you would imagine that Nico Dawes will certainly go anywhere that he has a clear path to an NHL job. And I'm sure after the season, there'll probably be tons of teams that could at least give him that opportunity. Quinn will take Luke's power play 1 spot. Well, Luke doesn't have a power play 1 spot anymore, Zach. Right now it's Nemo with Luke getting power play 2. And long term, if Nemo's not here, obviously you will see Quinn Hughes in the event he's here. Quinn will be the power play 1 quarterback with Luke being power play 2. And who knows, maybe it gets silly. And when you might see either permanently or situationally see a Hughes overload on the power play where all 3 of them are out there. And just go for the real deal, just really overwhelm a team while on the power play. Zach says Nemo is definitely worth the same, if not more than Luke. I do agree. It should be minimum the same. Justin says, hearing Vancouver wants the Devils captain Nico for Quinn Hughes. Cannot see the Devils. We've now went down the Quinn Hughes path. I knew it was inevitable at some point. We did a great job of not talking about it right away. But that's nice. I want to date Carmen Electra. It's nice to want. And they could want Nico all they want. I do think it would be psychotic for the Devils to deal Nico Hischier in this deal, simply because we have no center depth, and Nico is a very good center. Trading and your captain, aside from that, your captain, who is a position you're already extremely weak at, to trade him for a defenseman who we have no shortage of at the moment, in my opinion, would be complete malpractice of the highest level. To trade a top center for a defenseman that you technically don't need. It is a nice luxury, but we definitely don't need it. And so if that happens, I think you would see a lot of people furious. And the sad part is, if we do land Quinn and Nemo's involved, there's going to be people furious about that as well, including many here. Zach says, has a feeling Dougie's out the door. I mean, I think that's kind of the consensus now. Devils aren't going to be able to do much unless they're able to move that money. Jay Snow says, I don't see Quinn coming here this year. The money and the assets don't line up. I completely disagree. Snow, completely disagree. If you're talking about getting rid of Dougie, I mean, how does that's the money right there. And then especially if Mercer's involved or Nemo, Mercer and Nemo make a collective $5 million, $4 million and $1 million essentially. So it's $5 million out. There's plenty of paths. All right, you guys are killing me about Carmen Electra. I just said a name for Sydney Sweeney. Is that better? Say someone relevant. I mean, Carmen Electra is old. I'm old. What do I say? What are these? A teeny bopper? Sydney Sweeney. All right, Sydney Sweeney. Child. Is that better for you guys? Carmen Electra's a granny. My God, you guys are brutal. Quinn Hughes will be here this year, says Justin Smith. If I had to bet on it, I think so. I would have to bet yes. There's just too much smoke around it. Vancouver's eventually going to get tired of hearing about it. I do think there's a lot of players involved with the trade like this, and it could take some time to kind of figure it out. But I just don't see how Vancouver doesn't trade him this year. And by this year, I mean like sooner than later, because this is now the ultimate distraction. And I think the Devils are going to have to be the ones to take it home. I just don't see how they don't. Twitter nonsense. Jason says other teams have way more than what we could offer. I disagree with that also. Maybe at first glance, but there's a lot of ways to get this thing done. And this team should not be clutching on to draft picks anymore. They should not care about the next couple years draft. The time to win is now. Right now. Zach says, besides trade, I really hope to see Nason have a big game tonight. Yeah, he's getting his crack at power play 1, where he thrived last season. Hopefully we see the junkyard dog. Getting some points and doing junkyard things tonight on the power play. David Ace, do you think the Sunday Vancouver will be scouting the team for the Quinn trade, or do you think they already know who they want? Both. I think they've already told the Devils kind of the framework of what they're looking for in exchange, and the scouting will continue. There's no reason not to. I'm sure they'll be there. I wouldn't be surprised if there's going to be some scouts there tonight and for the Ducks game as well on Saturday. But I would expect that Vancouver is constantly and consistently scouting the Devils up until this deal is done. They want centers. We don't have any. Again, what is it like to want? You could want a center, but if someone's offering you a package that makes sense with draft picks and other guys that could kind of work, I don't think they're going to die on the hill of we need to have a center come back. Tragic. I don't even want Quinn. We have enough fast and skill types. We need the depth of Mercer and Nemo, especially at the price. Chaz, the team is cursed. That said, I hope Timo is okay and his family. We need to keep Dawes. This is stupid. Dawes is not happening, my guy. The writing's on the wall. Morkel, curious what you think about Markstrom's playing if you think he eventually gets back to form. I do. People are going to kill me for it, but, you know, he is older. I think maybe he was a little creaky. He had the injuries. I do think he came back while he was still injured. And what gives me hope is that while he does give up some softies from time to time, he also makes the crazy high danger saves. And so now if he could just alleviate giving up the softies, I think he gives you a great chance to win every single night. And hopefully the defense and the whole team gets better, when we get bodies back and or help from the outside. And so I have to believe that he will get back to similar to what we saw at his high point last year. I'm not writing him off whatsoever. People say the sky is falling and all the people attacking Markey, and I just think it's way premature. Has he been shaky this season thus far? Absolutely. Absolutely, but I am not going to write him off or say that he's done whatsoever. I still think he has plenty to give, and hopefully he proves all these people wrong soon. But we'll see. I'm hoping for the best for him, and I think he does get back. Zach, Nico leaving would be suicidal for the Devils. I agree with that. David says, I wonder if there'll be any We Want Quinn or Don't Trade Nemo chance Sunday at the Rock. Probably nothing crazy. You might see I don't think you'll ever see like a massive coordinated one. Tragic Slug, we give away both Woods, Schmidt, and now Dawes to hold two decent but aging goalies. What is our plan aside from Yegorov? The Woods, I don't blame anyone on. I will blame people in charge for Schmidt because he won a playoff round, period, and showed money performances. Going to the Garden down 2-0 in a series to the Rangers, and he wins two big games at the Garden and then ultimately wraps up the series in a Game 7 shutout at the Rock. Like, Schmidt was a bad one, in my opinion. I do think that the relationship probably was soured between his team, himself, and the organization because I do think he was kind of yo-yoed up and down. I don't think he ever really got a fair shake, and it probably pissed him off. He should have probably been in the NHL that whole time working through his struggles. It didn't happen. They got rid of him, and it is what it is. I love Paulie Cotter, but, Schmidt's looking like he's the real deal, and he came back to haunt us the other night, as many of us knew he would. Quinn is looking at 15 millish, probably. You guys are nuts, yeah. Well, Carmen Electra, people thumbing their nose at Carmen Electra, wild stuff. I mean, I haven't seen a picture of her recently. Let me look. I mean, she's obviously not what she once was, but I don't even know how old these pictures are. Yeah, she's definitely aged. But, if she wants to go out and get some penny vodka, I certainly would not deny her. We play the Lightning tonight. Anaheim's a perfect spot for Quinn. They have all the money plus assets. Can't see it. I want Tate McRae as my girlfriend, but looks like she might be taken. Oh, boy. Half-naked Frankenstein. I wonder if Vancouver's waiting to see how they look now that they're more healthy. Fitz looks like a pro compared to those guys in Vancouver. I mean, they're in the basement of the league with no end in sight. Like, they're not going anywhere anytime soon. That's the brutal reality that I think all of their fans have probably come to realize, as well as, some of the powers that be. The president, Rutherford, and the ownership group, and supposedly he's kind of a problematic owner, and who knows, but, they're not going anywhere anytime soon. And so they're going to have to cash him in. What assets are we sending? They don't want D-men. Come on, Snow. You know exactly what it's going to be. Vancouver will want Gritsuk and Mercer and a prospect for Quinn. I would pass. I would tell them it's laughable if you think you're getting Gritsuk. David Ace, do you think Quinn will be imagining what playing in New Jersey this Sunday could be like, or is he just looking at it as another game? I mean, as a human being, there's no way that all of these random things are going to be going through his head during the game. There's no way that they can't be. I mean, that's just part of the reality. He's going to be in the arena of his brother's, his brother's home arena. They're probably going to have family dinner and whatever else, beforehand or after or whatever. So all of these things are going to be out there in the ether. The time to win is tonight. I like that. Jay Snow, Quinn has no trade protection, so why would they care to get a lesser package from us when other teams could offer more? You keep saying a lesser package. It's based in nothing. It's based in nothing. We have tons of assets. I don't know where people are coming up with. We have tons of assets. Tons to trade. What are you getting? They're going to offer more. They might offer a center that we're not going to offer. Okay, and if that's the hill they're going to die on, then maybe they do take that deal. But there's certainly enticing offers that the Devils could come up with. You're making it sound like we have no draft picks anytime soon. We have no prospects. We have no roster players. There's tons of ways to get this done. Justin Markstrom needs to steal this game tonight. Again, hopefully we don't rely on a goaltending theft to get the win and that the team plays solid. But obviously want a solid game out of Markey. I don't want him to have to steal one, but I'll take it if that's how it plays out. Just win the game no matter how you do it, preferably with a early lead that you don't blow. Like that Columbus game was beautiful. 2-0, like 3 minutes in, and then it all fell apart. Schmid was bad after that series, though. Yeah, because he was a young goalie. Young goalie. Like I've said before, if you win a playoff round in that fashion, down 2-0 to the Rangers, going on the road, and then you win like that, you are getting way more leeway than anyone else because guess what? He's the only guy not named Martin Brodeur to win a playoff series for the New Jersey Devils in the past 32 years. Let that sink in. 32 years. In that time span, the Devils have probably had 40 different goalies play. And not a single one, other than Martin Brodeur, has won a playoff round. Let that sink in. I would have given that guy all the leeway in the world. Would the Devils send Yegorov to Vancouver for Quinn Hughes? I don't think so, and I don't even know that they would want him. That's an interesting wrinkle. A lot of people have kind of thrown his name out there. I don't think so, but who knows? Zach says Carmen was in Butte back in the day, man. She stole my heart in Good Burger. That's funny. The man from Jersey, you have to get Quinn now. Screw waiting another 2 years. Completely agree. If that's what they, again, for the 9 millionth time, because not everyone watches everything. So to make it clear, that would not be my first target of an acquisition with all the pieces that it's going to take. I 1,000% would go for a power forward, like a Brady Tkachuk, like a Thompson. Again, probably all pipe dreams, and their teams are not. Oh, I didn't kill it yet. Making them available, but that's what I would target. But that's not what the team's going to do. You know the agenda is to get Quinn, and so I'm not going to say I don't want Quinn, obviously. I would rather the focus be elsewhere, but it's not. The focus is on Quinn, and so when you can get a guy like this, bring it home. Bring it home. He will make this team better. He'll make any team he plays on better. David Ace, I find it weird whenever the media asks players about trade rumors, they can't say, they say they don't know anything. Hockey players are human just like you and I, and they have cell phones too. They must know. Of course, it's all just a cat and mouse game. Ryder, I've been absent lately. Just take a break from this madness, but in light of today's news, what the hell are these line combinations? This is a coach who has to make magic with what he's got, and that's what he's doing. That is what he's doing. Bratt, Heischer, Nason, Palat, Mercer, Cotter, Gritzglass, Brown, Parent, Glendening, Cruikshank. Hoping for the best. Hoping for the best. A big opportunity for Grits on power play 1. Cotter bumped up, and Nason on power play 1. Cotter up to the second line. And hopefully we get something out of these combinations here. Chaz, if it happens soon with Quinn, Vancouver will want too much with first offer. What means our organization is in a sad state? Ted says the Devils' future is bright. Oh, Ted. You're right, Ted. Let me put the shades on. Let me put on the future is bright glasses. The future is so bright. But we need the right now. We need the present to be bright. I'd be surprised if Devils went through the most goalies in the league the last 5 to 7 years. They're probably up there. I mean, we've seen, the Louis Dominguez and the Andrew Hammonds. Just so many random John Gillies. Before the situation was finally handled appropriately, they tried Bernier. Crawford retired after a practice. Robbie's bench toss. The risky run is Detroit or a rival getting Quinn. Him liking it there, and Jack Luke being swindled out of New Jersey down the road. I don't know how high of a risk it is, but it's possible. Obviously, it's possible. But you're talking so far down the line now. I mean, Luke just signed his deal. Jack's still here a while. And so I would like to believe that this idea of them all wanting to play together, they would want to do it before they're like super old. Not to be super old, but, while they're younger, A lot changes over time. And so I'd imagine there's no time like the present. And I'd imagine they kind of feel that way too. And so we'll see how it plays out. They're not trading Luke as part of the deal. I don't know why people keep doing this. Putting in Jack or Luke. Like the goal is to have all three of them. They're not trading one of them. Robbie's bench toss. The risky run is Detroit or a rival getting... Oh, I said that we just read this. Yeah. A lot of people are saying the Detroit thing. I can't see it. I think this area is a despite them kind of living in Michigan for a while. I don't know. I think they probably would prefer this area as the young guys that they are. There's a lot to do here. You're near the city. Let's be real, guys. Was Jack going to take Tate McRae out on a dinner in downtown Detroit? Come on now. That's not a Tate McRae area. This is the New York, New Jersey metropolitan area. Could the Devils send Dawes to Nashville for Stamkos? I can't see that happening. I think the Stamkos thing is problematic just because I don't know how, could Nashville find a desperate team that will take him without retention? I think there is a chance. And obviously I have no interest in him without retention. And so I think we could possibly be kind of beat on that front. But I also think they're waiting to see how this Quinn thing plays out before they do anything else. That's certainly how it seems. David Ace, do you think Luke and Quinn will take a picture on the ice Sunday without Jack? It's possible. It's possible. I don't know if they will. I could see it happening. Maybe it's like, the precursor, the last time they were on separate teams. John Lopez says, my thought is that he's flying home to Switzerland. That's kind of my worst fear too. And if that's the case, we might be without him for even longer than the homestand. We got these 3 games at home here, and then we're on the road at Vegas the 17th and at Utah the 19th. Yeah, I mean, we're going to see how this all plays out. Ritter Engine, I believe I will be going to the game. When does Jack return? I'm thinking in about another 5 weeks. Zach, Ace, can you make another Running with the Devils t-shirt that says Doomer's going to doom on it? I'm waiting for a couple things. I don't know about I've been thinking of an idea for a shirt or a thing, but I'm waiting on a couple things before I do it. I have a bunch of ideas. Stay tuned for that. Raymond, hey, Ace, it's been a while since I have posted, and I hope you are doing well. What are your thoughts on picking up Kadri? Probably too expensive of a player, but wanted to hear your thoughts. I'm actually, this is going to be discussed in a video that's probably coming out in the next couple days. But the short answer is I would like him. The age and contract is a little scary, but he certainly is a dog that we desperately need. And so depending on what other guys are potentially available, he's definitely on my short list. And I think I would, if nothing else came to fruition and that was the kind of last piece on the board, I think I would do it. I would try to get them to retain, but in the end, like, sometimes you have to take a risk, and that is a win now move. And I have been preaching win now for several years now. And sometimes you just, and for all the people with Palat induced PTSD, like, oh, we already like, you know what? You're going to hit on some, you're going to lose on some, but I'd rather go down with a guy like Kadri than without. And if he falls off and the contract blows at some point, then so be it, because we tried to win. I rather try to actually win and make win now moves and fail than to sit back with our hands in our pockets and talk about what could have been. And we are rapidly, whether you people realize it or not, we are rapidly close to, or rapidly approaching those conversations, talking about what could have been and blah, blah, blah. And so you got to go for it. Robbie, same. I think everyone's having interest is ultimately driving up the price for NJ. I think Vancouver wants to do right by Quinn and send him here ideally. I completely agree with that. I think people don't realize how much stuff like that comes into play, that the GM of a team like that with a guy like Quinn will try to get him to his preferred destination. Now, they're not going to bend over backwards to make it happen. But if the Devils come with a package that remotely is in the realm of other ones, I think it will happen. Codger definitely has that dog in him. David, the temptation is real, folks. I go on my phone just doing ordinary things, and all these new mock trades for Quinn pop up, and I get suckered into clicking on them. Yeah, you're going to see it every day until he's dealt. That is the nature of the beast. It certainly is not going away anytime soon until it happens. Half the players are hurt. Happy game day. Any word on Pesci return? No. You know how it works. I mean, he was on the ice recently, I believe. But, hopefully he comes back towards the end of the month, early January. I think that's the most realistic expectations we could have right now. He could be maybe a 2 to 3 weeks away. The sooner, the better. The guy's a warrior, so I believe he will be back as soon as he physically is cleared. Hey, Russo says Vancouver wants an unprotected first included. I say get it done, win now. I don't know what that's in addition to. But yeah, I don't care about protecting the pick. If we tank, screw it. Like, if that's a major sticking point, make it unprotected. Don't suck and have the pick be a high one, and then it doesn't matter. John, who is quarterbacking your power play ace? Any devil of all time are the choices? Come on, John. You should know who I'm going to say. This is an easy one. Scotty Needs, baby. Scotty Needs would be my answer. NHL and New Jersey Devils legend. Absolute legend. I'm going Needs all day, every day. Let me take off my future is bright glasses. All right. Anyone have anything else? I got some stuff to do here. I was on here way longer than I planned. Timo out. Xavier Parent in. Throw up your X's. X is making his debut. Big debut for him. Paulie Cotter up to the second line. Nason on power play 1. Grits on power play 1. Lots of things to look for tonight. Hoping for the best. Got to gut out a big win on home ice. Hopefully, I see most of you later, and we are having victory drinks in celebration because I do not want to sip on loser beverages. We had way too many loser beverages as of late. But if you guys are looking for gifts or merch, definitely check out the link pinned in the chat. Fanatics crazy sale. Hedman is out. Crazy sale. Tons of stuff on sale for crazy deals. Get yourself some gifts. Get the holiday gifts. Some Lululemon. Rarely on sale. On sale. But Devils going back to battle at the Rock. We need the points any way they come. And like I said, be back later for the post-game live. I really hope we are sipping on victory drinks because I've had my fill of loser beverages. But hit the thumbs up on your way out. And I think that's all I got for you guys now. Tons of stuff in the works. So keep your eyes peeled. Tons of stuff in the works. Thank you all for watching. I love you all. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go Devils.